Hello, this video is to show you how to replace your one-piece firing pin in your Henry Big Boy 357, 44 mag, or 45 Colt. I do need you to watch this entire video without skipping because we do have people that try to skip through the video, and there are a couple of oopsies moments in here that we want to show you. That way you guys don't have to send off an email or try to call us. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to double check that this firearm is unloaded and there are no ammunition within our wingspan. What we're going to need is a bench block, a flathead screwdriver, or a quick takedown screw from Ranger Point Precision, a ball peen hammer, just a small one, it doesn't have to be very big, and an 1/8 inch punch. Let's go ahead and remove this 1/8 inch punch from my set and we will get started. So again, we have no ammunition anywhere near us. Let's go ahead and remove our takedown screw. Now if you have our quick takedown screw, that eliminates the need for a screwdriver, so it makes for really quick takedowns out in the field. So let's go ahead and remove our takedown screw. We're going to pull out our lever. Now one thing that I like to do is to place the takedown screw right there in the hole in the lever. That way it doesn't roll off. Set that aside. So now our bolt is halfway out. Our first oopsie moment is about to happen right here. So we have our ejector that hangs out right here inside of the receiver. Let's go ahead and get this thing out of the way. So, like I said, that is our first oopsie moment. I will show you how to replace that here shortly. Let's set this aside. Now, we can actually take the gun, get it out of the way, and we have our bolt. Now this bolt right here has already got our firing pin in it, so for this purpose all I'm going to be doing is removing the upgraded firing pin and reinstalling it. You will be removing your factory and placing your upgraded one back in there. So now we're going to take our armorer's block, our bench block here, and we are going to drive out this pin. Let me go ahead and give you an up close. This is the pin right here that we will be driving out. So let's place this pin over that hole. And now this is going to have a little bit of a want to roll because that pin isn't centered in there. So we'll have to do a little bit of fighting to keep it in place, but that is no big deal. So this block is a little less grippy and it wants to rotate a little bit more than my other block. My other block, no matter how supportive it was, I constantly beat on it. No wonder it ran away and I can't find it. So dad jokes aside, let's go ahead and keep driving this pin. And what I like to do is not take the pin all the way out of the way. We'll get it most of the way out of the way so that our firing pin can come back and we don't have to guide our roll pin back in. So right there, we're sticking out a pretty good amount, but our firing pin is not going to want to come out. So what we have to do is we actually have to press on our firing pin block here, and boom, there comes our firing pin. And now you can see this firing pin has got a fair amount of use from testing. This is made from 17.4. It is a very hard piece, and it is going to be known as a really good upgrade. So now here is our second oopsies moment where things can fall out. Let's say that we roll this over and this firing pin block falls out. You have two springs that are sitting in that firing pin block. Oopsies, it fell out. And then also, there's our firing pin spring. Oopsies, it fell out. So if you have your firing pin block and it fell out, there is a little set of springs that sit in there. And then there is a little pocket right here. This pocket is going to face rearward toward your hammer. So now, let's go ahead and put all of that back in where we had our oopsies. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to put the firing pin spring back in. Let's go ahead and drive it home. Then, let's take our firing pin block. We'll get this to focus there. We have two pockets for that. We're going to take our two tiny springs, place those in those pockets. As you can see here, see our two tiny springs placed in there. And we're going to put this back into our bolt. So boom, just like that. So now we're going to let gravity keep this firing pin block in place. We'll go ahead and give him a little nudge there into his home. Now we're going to take our firing pin. Now our firing pin has got a flat in it. And what you're going to notice is that flat is going to line up with that roll pin that we just removed. So let's take this, push this in. We've got to depress our firing pin block just a little bit. And we'll push this in until we get just a little bit of resistance. We'll take our punch, push our firing pin block down, which that is not enough. Let me take my 2 fingers and do this. Boom. So now we are in there. And like I said before, we are going to have to align this up with that roll pin. So let's go ahead and get this in there and lined up with the roll pin. So there we go. Had to hold my tongue just right, but the firing pin block snapped up in there. So this is how everything should look before you drive your roll pin back in. Our new upgraded firing pin is sitting flush inside of there. You've got just a small protrusion for where the transfer bar strikes it. But we've got our firing pin block in, the 2 springs are underneath it, and our firing pin is in there. So now this is the part where you're going to thank me for only driving out my roll pin part of the way. So we're going to take and set this right here, and we're going to finish driving our roll pin back home. Now if you feel extra resistance, please stop. So we're almost there. I can still feel the head of it with my finger. And boom, there it is. We're not protruding from either side. So you can see our roll pin has gone back home and is now ready. The whole assembly is ready to put it back into your gun. So we're going to remove our block. We're going to take our tools, pull them out of the side, and then let's get ready for the gun. So here is our gun back. Now what you're going to notice, I told you to pay attention because there is an oopsies moment where things fall out. That ejector sets in a hole right here in this side. Once you have it successfully in place, this little post right there, right here, that little post will protrude out the side and seal that back off. So we're going to take our little leaf springy part, and that is what's going to point down. We've got a groove right here that'll lead you straight to where that post pokes out the back side of that receiver. So let's go ahead and place this in here. All I like to do is just roll it down that groove until it pops into place. And once you have it in place, it'll be protruding out this side and filling up that hole. So here is our bolt. Now you're going to look, this is the open part here. This open part is where your locking lug comes up and pushes on your firing pin block when everything is in battery. So let's go ahead and put this into place. Just gives a little wiggle there. It has cleared our ejector and stayed in place. So now let's go ahead and get our lever and takedown screw. We're going to put our lever into the groove right there into the bolt. Boom. That fell right in place. Here comes our takedown screw. And if you have the Ranger Point Precision, you do not need a flathead yet again, but here we are. So let's go ahead and run this on in. All you have to do is snug it. Let's go ahead and check for function. That is sweet. We are good to go. Enjoy that firing pin for years to come.
Oh, I want this so bad.